All right, boys, it's time for the weekly recap. So, this week, as you can see by what's on your screen, definitely a bad week to say the least. To say the least, this is a bad week. Um, 4 losses, 1 win. The 1 win ate 2 of the losses. So, and since they're only 0.5%, basically this week was a negative 1% week. So I lost 1% across the board for this week, which is not bad. That's not like, you know, that's not critical. That's not a devastating week. But it is a losing week nonetheless. And this week was just full of just horrible trades. A lot of the trades in the beginning of this week stopped me out like instantly. Like it was bad, bro. And there's honestly not much to say about it. But I am doing this new little thing that I started actually this week, where I'm going to Google Slides. Now I remember Google Slides from when I was like in middle school, like when I was real young, like kindergarten through 8th grade, or if you're in the UK or some other country, they probably don't have that. Like what's it called, grade one or grade one through grade 8 is I think how the people from the UK would say it. But anyways, I remember when we were in kindergarten or when we were in middle school, we used to use Google Slides a lot, and I remember just how like cool it was. Like it had all types of like things you could do, like all kinds of stickers, like all kinds of customizations or whatever like that. So I started using Google Slides because, like Google Docs, I'm familiar with it. So with that being said, let me show you my Google Slides and how I've been tracking all the trades I've been taking. So here it is, Monday. And here's the thing, bro. I put the color red on losing days and the color green on winning days. So there's only one green and there's 4 reds. So let's just jump right into it. This was Monday's trade. Up here in the upper half, I put the trade I took on a smaller time frame so you could see it like clearer. And then on the bottom, I put the 15-minute. Now I'm sorry, you're gonna have to kind of like zoom in if you want to see details, but I just I just don't have all of these trades on my chart because I need to delete them. That way, my chart's not cluttered with a bunch of stuff and a bunch of lines and arrows and numbers and all. I like to have a really clean chart. So this is, you gotta work with it, bro. And plus, you gotta work with me a little bit. Like work with me here, bro. So all right, let's get into it. Monday, July 6th, 2025. This was the trade I took. It was a really sad trade. It took me out in like 4 minutes, dead ass. And I was dead wrong. As you can see down here, I was literally dead wrong. Like that actually, dead ass, was literally the low of the session. And then it just flew up after. Like, if I would have just went long instead of short, bro, that would have been a perfect entry, and I would have literally caught as many pips as I wanted. So it's super fucking sad. But anyways, I'm asking myself these 3 questions: what did I see? What actually happened? And what did I learn? So when it comes to this trade, when it comes to what did I see, but I saw not much because I rushed into London session 15 minutes before the kill zone was over. Showed up super late because I forgot to show up at the beginning of the session. All I saw was that we're going down, and I saw 2 1-minute fair value gaps. And once it filled one, I entered short, as you can see right there. I'm acting like you can see what I'm pointing at. This gap right here that's covered by my cursor, that little gap right there is what I entered. I initially saw a 5-minute gap get left open, and we made a move lower, which is why I went to the 1 minute chart because I didn't want to miss the move. So yeah, that did happen. I remember there was a gap like around this area, and it went into it barely, and then it dropped lower below that low that formed after it went up into that gap. So I was like, all right, 1 minute time frame, let's go down to it. First fair value gap, I'm hopping in, boom. And yeah, that's what I saw. And what actually happened was that we were what actually happened was on a 15-minute time frame, we ran lows around the Asia session, which is here. We ran these lows right here in the Asia session. And then we made a move up around midnight, which is here. Then late in the kill zone, we swept the lows, which is this, and which is this. You can see the green line marking those relative equal lows right there. And then we displaced up right into New York session. As you can see here, we displaced up, and then coming into New York, we also kept displacing. I should have seen this and anticipated a move up, patiently waiting for jaggedness. Like jaggedness meaning if we are truly going to go up, then in order to have a bunch of liquidity, like myself, they need to make the market jagged. They need to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, trick everyone going short, and then pump it up. So I should have waited for that jaggedness, even if it was late in the London session, because there's a difference. There's a difference between showing up super late and then just entering the first fucking fair value gap you see, or literally sitting there the whole fucking kill zone, all 3 hours of it, just patiently waiting like a freaking crocodile, just waiting to snap and pounce on the markets. I should have done that because there's a big difference between it. Or I could have traded euro dollar and forgot about this pair. And I should do this more often, but I forgot to mention this was in GBP JPY. But yeah, it was in GBP JPY. So what did I learn? I learned how bad you can be burned by ignoring the narrative and just impulsively entering, which is what I did. I didn't pay attention to narrative. I didn't pay attention to all the things that I just explained. I literally just enter impulsively. And I learned that no matter how many times I do this, I never learn my lesson, which is true. So, yeah, like I was saying, I do have this tendency to just impulsively enter. Like, I'll show up late to the kill zone and then I'll just impulsively enter. And I do that a lot. And that's why I put right here, I learned that no matter how many times I do this, I never learn my lesson, which is a problem that I need to fix, which is fucking true. And I worked on that later on in this week. I showed up on time. I made an effort. I got real close to setting. Here's the thing: I was gonna set an alarm, but then as I was gonna go set the alarm, it was already the kill zone. Like the kill zone was literally starting in 1 minute. It was like 10:59 my time. I was like, oh shit, there's no need to set a freaking alarm. I'll just show up to the charts, you know. But I also have down here, I also learned to prioritize showing up to the session on time, like I was saying, because I similarly lost last Wednesday because I showed up literally after the kill zone. Yeah, dude. Freaking Wednesday of the week before this, so like late June, early July, bro, I literally showed up because I had to pick up my brother from the airport, and I showed up literally after the kill zone. I didn't show up late to the kill zone. I showed up after the kill zone ended, bro. And I noted that right there because it was just such horribleness, you know. So yeah, that was Monday, July 6th, 2025. Now let's move on to Tuesday. This was the trade right here. Eerily similar. I was, as you can see down here, I was dead wrong. Dropped really hard after I went long. Just stopped me out pretty much instantly. Really, really sad. But these are the things that kind of wake you up a little bit. These are the things that make you lock the fuck in and create all these new habits and shit like that. So I'm grateful for it. I'm learning to be more grateful and have gratitude and shit like that. So I'm grateful for these losses because I wasn't like, I'm not a pussy, bro. I'm not a bitch. When I lose, I don't go, oh, I lost. Ah. I say, okay, what did I do wrong? Are there any new habits that I need to implement or adopt? And if so, I will promise myself that I will dedicate myself to them, and they will make me a better trader, and then I'll eventually stop losing. So I never get upset about losses, to be honest. Sometimes I'll get kind of moody, and sometimes I'll, be sad about it. But I do my best to suppress it because I like suppressing the negative emotions, and I like indulging in the positive emotions. So with that being said, what did I see? I saw a 15-minute fair value gap that was a dirty fair value gap, meaning it wasn't one to hold price or to enter on. It was a fake. It was just going to get blown through and never return to, or used as an inversion fair value gap and used to hold price down, not up. So that dirty gap, you can see it right here where my cursor is. I should have it highlighted, and I'm sorry for that. But you can, like, if you zoom in, you can kind of see it right there. Like, it's a bad gap to enter on. And on the lower time frame, I didn't wait for a gap, which is true. I remember this now. I didn't wait for a gap. I just impulsively entered after we filled the dirty gap because I was like, oh, that's gonna start shooting up. Like, I might as well just get it now. And dude, looking in hindsight, bro, it's so stupid. It's just literally so fucking stupid, bro. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking on Tuesday. And what's scary is this was only a few days ago on Tuesday. So I'm still that same trader, bro. But yeah, I impulsively entered, and then I showed up late to the kill zone, and I was looking at both pairs, but I didn't see anything. And at the end, I was like, let's just enter something for tonight. So no real recipe or rule-based trading, just impulsive. Very sad. That is very true. I remember on that night, I was like, well, and I don't know why I showed up late because I didn't show up late. I was just watching the whole time. Like for the whole kill zone, I was just like bouncing back and forth, looking at London, looking at no, not London, looking at Euro USD, looking at GBP JPY, and I was just bouncing back and forth, and I didn't see anything. So I was just like, you know what, I can't go home with no trade tonight, so I just got to enter, and I paid the price for it. It's such a stupid. When I say it out loud, bro, it sounds literally like the most stupid shit ever. It sounds so dumb. So what actually happened? On the 15-minute time frame, we cleared midnight's initial high, which is true. We swept that high formed at midnight, forming relative equal lows below price, which is true. This low, that low, relatively equal. Price then shoots down and then turns that 15-minute fake gap into an inversion fair value gap and never touches into it, which shows bearish strength. That is a good point, because if it turns that gap into an inversion fair value gap and then doesn't enter it again and it just keeps dropping, that is a really, really, really good sign that you're in a strong bull or bearish move. Then we attack Monday's lunch session low. Beautiful downwards delivery. Very, very true. So down here, that's lunch hour, and we formed the low in the lunch hour, and then we attacked it in the New York session the day after. So that's what happened. And what did I learn? I learned that if I'm in a position where I'm looking at both pairs and I can't see in real time what's going on, I should just not trade. Very fucking true. Makes total fucking sense to avoid any losses. Yeah. Yeah. I learned that ICT is right when he says you need to understand which gaps are fake and dirty and which ones are clean and offer entries for low resistance liquidity. Very fucking true. Just like it did here, but in the opposite way of what I was anticipating. I also got to see what objectively happened, which helped me as well. No shit, obviously, right? I think I was just trying to like fill the page. That's why I wrote that extra sentence. But anyways, this is Tuesday. Kind of want to move on from it because it was a bad loss. So let's move on. Wednesday, July 8th, 2025. Another devastating. Now I remember on this day, in this night, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, I was very, very sad. I felt sadness. I could only hold up the whole I don't get bad emotions from trading. I could only hold that for so long. But I had a really bad night on Wednesday in terms of sadness, in terms of feeling down on myself. And Thursday, but here's the thing, bro. And I said this in the video I made on Thursday. I handled it like a fucking champ, bro. I got out of bed. I was feeling sad when I woke up. Then I got out of bed and I was like, all right, same shit as always. I put pink Himalayan salt in my mouth and then swigged it with water. And then I drank a bunch of water to hydrate myself and to replenish the electrolytes because that's what the pink salt does. Then all of a sudden I had my energy. I wasn't feeling groggy anymore. I just felt energized. And then I made some food that was healthy for me. I made a video. I studied, went to the gym, did Uber, made some money, came home, made clean food, ate clean, meditated, gratitude journal, all that shit. And Thursday was a good day. Even though on this day I had a really bad night. I was feeling so sad, woke up feeling so sad. I handled that shit like a fucking champ, bro. And I'm so proud of myself and I'm so grateful that I handled it that way. But anyways, let's just get this shit over with. Wednesday, July 8th, 2025. Look at this, bro. Can you believe this shit? Can you even believe that shit? Like you would think that I'm like purposely trying to do this shit, like just finding a random price point to throw a freaking profit and loss thing on and make it look like I'm taking all these more. Dude, this was real, bro. This is a real ass fucking entry. Insane shit. All right, let's get this over with. What did I see? I saw that we were approaching some relative equal lows, and I wanted to catch the move running them out. So down there, I guess. But I remember this was on a 5-minute chart. I'm pretty sure this was on a 5-minute chart, so not as clear as it could be. And I wanted to catch the move up, running them out. I showed up an hour late to the kill zone and did that thing where the first gap I see, I convince myself it's a valid gap. Sorry, I had to fix it real quick. I convinced myself it's a valid gap to enter on, when in reality I'm just rushing in. I was dead wrong about price. Yeah, same shit. Like this, like you probably can't see it, but right where my cursor is, like I'm circling it right there. There's a little gap, and that's what I entered on. And wait, hold on. It says we were approaching relative equal lows, and I wanted to catch the move running them out, but I went long. That must have been a typo. I think I meant relative equal, but anyways, this whole fucking thing is confusing. This whole fucking trade doesn't make any sense. What actually happened? We ran some relative equal highs while leaving the highs a bit higher intact, forming relative equal highs overall. So that's what I mean by that is these lows here, these lows right here got swept, but then these highs up here, those highs up there that I just showed you got ran, or no, got left intact, excuse me. And that high right here, failing to run those highs, formed relative equal highs, even though it already ran those ones out. I know it's confusing, but it's what happened. This is the market. This is what objectively fucking happened. So I just have to surrender to it. You know? I was gonna say, God, ICT always say submit to it. You gotta submit to it. You gotta submit to it. That sounds so fucking gay, bro. Like I'm never gonna say, oh, I submit to the market. I submit to time. I submit. That's so fucking gay, bro. I'll just say I surrender. So I'm gonna surrender to the truth of the markets, which is that even though it is kind of confusing running these highs out, forming highs with these ones that didn't get ran out, it's what happened. So we ran out Tuesday's lunch lows while leaving Tuesday's New York lows intact. So lunch lows right here, New York lows right there. We ran the lunch lows and left the New York ones in place, which means this down move was temporary and signifies strength for today's New York session. Very fucking true. The little pop that failed to hit the overhaul highs was a Judas swing. This right here was a Judas swing for that move lower, attacking those lunch lows. And then the real move happened in New York, but I'm not talking about what happened in New York because I traded this in London Tester. So let's finally finish this. What did I learn? I learned that I lie to myself and I need to keep my word when it comes to showing up on time to the kill zone. Yeah, I was fucking heated when I wrote this shit, bro. And how I shouldn't just show up late and enter the first gap I see with no narrative. I've taken countless losses doing that stupid shit. Very fucking true. And I mentioned that earlier in this video. Just showing up, not even really fucking caring. Like that's so horrible that I just show up and then very first fucking gap I see I just enter it. That's not only bad habits, but that goes way deeper and says you don't even fucking give a shit about this. You don't even care about trading if you're not even like at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I should be like anticipating. I should be looking at my phone because I've done that before. Looking at my phone, going, "Oh, how many more minutes until the kill zone? How many more minutes?" And the kill zone opens, and I'm already on trading fucking view. Yeah, very very fucking true. I also saw another example of when price forms relative equal highs instead of doing liquidity sweeps, and then I need to learn how, when, and why to anticipate that. Yeah, like this. See how this high didn't run out these highs? I see that happen. Like I noticed that, and I'm like, because when you trade for a long time, even if you're not profitable or profitable, whatever the hell you are, you'll start seeing things happen over and over, and you'll start picking up on them like patterns, you know. And I see a lot that we will go up really really close to some highs or some lows, and then we'll just like reject them, forming relative equal highs or relative equal lows, and that is how relative equal highs and relative equal lows get formed in the first place. But like I gotta know like why that shit's happening, when the shit's happening, and how the shit's gonna happen, which makes a lot of sense. That this is my favorite part right here of the slide. This part right here, I like this part a lot. I'm gonna make it bold like that. There we go. That's good. That's some badass shit right there. Fucking doing all kinds of like I'm gonna note this right. I'm gonna make it bold so I can go back when I recap it and fucking peak shit, bro. This is the type of shit right here that's gonna get me funded. This type of fucking shit right here. Or no, I'm already funded, so this is gonna be the type of shit that gets me more payouts. Bro, I went so long without being funded that like even though I've been funded since November, like I got funded last November 2024, I still feel like I'm not fucking funded, bro, because I've spent so long not being funded. Even though it's been fucking months and months and months and months, like 9 months, 8 months, 9 months since I got funded, it still feels like I'm not even funded. That's such a funny thing. But all right, let's move on to the only winning trade of this week. I might want to spend a little time on this one, but actually I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to make this video too damn long. Because if I make this video too long, well, actually, no. What the hell am I trying to say? If people watch this video and they're entertained by this, especially for this week, because this is pretty fucking funny shit. But if they're entertained by it, or they're learning something, or they're motivated, like I got such a nice comment this morning. I got such a beautiful, nice comment. This guy was saying, I've been trying to get my challenge account passed, and watching you is inspiration. Keep making videos. It was just such a wonderful, fucking wholesome ass comment. And I gotta make these videos for those kind of people, because instead of trying to make short little videos appealing to multiple people, just serves people that don't even care about me. But if I do long videos where I'm in depth and I'm explaining myself and I'm talking about it passionately, then that's only going to benefit the people who genuinely care about this channel and who like spending time with me and like watching my videos. So screw that little limiting belief I just had. Limiting belief. God, I can't fucking talk sometimes, bro. Limiting belief that I had. I'm gonna make this shit long for my fucking viewers. So, but like in a reasonable way. Like I'm not gonna purposely like fucking ICT. I'm not gonna fucking drag the fucking video out 4 hours. This motherfucker will talk for 4 hours talking about his dogs, Bailey, and fucking all these fucking dogs, and oh, the Amazon guy just got here, telling fucking 1 hour long stories about his wife and his kid. Like, bro, like I like you, but it's like, bro, have some fucking respect for my time, dude. Like, holy fucking shit. But anyways, I'll make this a reasonable amount of time. I won't fluff it just to make it long, but you know what I'm saying. But anyways, Thursday, July 10th, 2025. Winning trade. Beautiful trade. Nice trade. I like these kind of trades. These are the parts of trading that make you feel happy. What did I see? I saw that we were in a premium. Very, very true. Up here, premium. And we had a phony gap below us that I anticipated to be a phony gap. See, I have so many fucking names for these gaps, bro. Dirty gap, fake gap, phony gap. Fucking, I gotta like lock in. Fucking get my journal out, make a name for it. Contenders, all like how people name their babies. They like write down a bunch of names they like, and then they, do like Hunger Games where they cross one off, cross until there's one left. I need to do that shit with these fucking phony gaps, bro, because I don't know what to fucking call them. But I anticipated a phony gap, and the phony gap is right here. And again, I should have fucking highlighted and left this shit on, but I didn't. If you can look right here where my cursor is, my cursor's right here. Look right there. See that gap? That was a phony gap. That's a fake fucking gap, and I knew it. I was like, this is a bullshit gap. This ain't no fucking foolish fair value gap. This is fake as hell, and I knew it. And to be honest, dude, I don't even know why, but I was just thinking to myself, this gap is bullshit. This is not gonna fucking hold price up. And I saw price fail to hit the initial high. Initial high is here. This is the initial high. And I saw price fail to hit the initial high, and I wanted to see displacement lower, which did happen. This displacement here was the catalyst for me entering this trade. Up here, down, I entered on this gap where my cursor is. The price inevitably, or eventually, came up to this gap here, and that was why I entered the trade. But like I said right here, I then entered on the first gap on the 1 minute, and I wanted to see price reach into the 5 minute, 15 minute BISI, which is a buy side and down. And that sounds so gay. I don't know why I still say that shit, like BISI and SIBI. Like, it just sounds sus, bro. It just sounds kind of weird. I'm gonna say fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, bearish fair value gap. It's all inefficiency. Fuck it, inefficiency. So yeah, I saw the 15 minute fair value gap resting just below a 1 minute time frame low. Yeah, right here. That green line, God, you can probably barely fucking. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna do something for you real quick. Yeah. Wait. Shit. Oh god, I'm messing everything up now. Okay, hold on. Yeah. 1 second, guys. 1 second. No, not that. Oh god, everyone's leaving the damn video. No one wants to watch this bullshit anymore. Alright. Oh, come on, bro. Alright, you know what? Screw it. Abort mission. If you can look closely, right here, there's a low, and then right below it, there's a gap. Just below it. Or you know, I'll just show you on fucking trading view. Fuck it. So Thursday. Where was it for Euro USD? Yeah, right here. So on the 1 minute, just bear with me. I'll make it clear to you. Don't worry. Right here, we had a gap right there, and we had a low here. So this is what I wanted you to see on the slides, except you couldn't see, so I wanted to show you on here. But that's what I saw, bro. I saw that shit right here. Around this time of price, right here, I saw this shit. And I was like, okay, I want to target that. And it worked. It worked. It freaking worked. Beautiful. So what actually happened? What I anticipated? That's fucking cold as fuck, bro. Like, that's badass. What actually happened? What I anticipated. Boom, cold as fuck. None of this fluff shit. Just what I anticipated. Except the gap above my entry gap got filled, and we ended up reaching below Tuesday's low, which made relative equal lows with Wednesday lows. Yeah. So these lows I could have targeted for a much bigger TP, but I wanted to do my standard 1 or 2, especially when it comes to this drawdown. That's a little rule, unverified, like unwritten rule that I have right now for this drawdown I'm in. But that will change eventually because I'm not a little 1 to 2 pussy. I'm not like, oh, 1 to 2 is the best thing. No, bro. If it's a 1 to 1, if it's a 1 to fucking 8, I'll take it. What's happening in price is gonna happen. But as it relates to this drawdown, I'm not taking that chance of price going there and then going back up, and I'm targeting way the fuck down here. I'm not willing to take that risk because there's no guarantee. But anyways, except yeah, so we ran out these lows, and that's not something that I anticipated because I was just focusing so short term. And the gap up here, gap right here, this one ended up getting filled, and I thought this one right here would hold. So that's all I was wrong about. Not looking out farther and seeing Tuesday and Wednesday's lows, and not knowing that that gap above me was gonna get hit. So that's all. That's other than that, I fucking predicted the market perfectly, literally perfectly. What did I learn? I learned that when you practice good habits, like see, this is me lazy myself because I hit a fucking banger. I learned that when you practice good habits, like showing up to the kill zone, you get rewarded. I learned that fading phony gaps adds to your probability. Yeah, no shit. I learned that when price fails to hit an initial high and we earn a premium to begin with, a sell move is likely. Yeah, fucking facts. I learned that if I show up on time, because I showed up on time for this one, and I look for logical, rule based ideas, I will be rewarded with W's, and that I am a good trader that sometimes just does bad, impulsive habits. Glaze session. But it's fucking true. It's true. It's true, bro. Alright, Friday. Oh, this one was fucking weird. This is a weird trade. Now, I don't take a lot of trades that are weird. This is a weird fucking trade. Shops around, starts going up. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be another trade where I get stopped out instantly. Drops down to hell. It barely took me in, bro. I swear, if that thing would have went one pipette higher, I would have been stopped out by spread. Because this is JPY. It doesn't get that close to your stop loss, and then keep you in. Like I should have been taken out of this trade right here. I should have been taken out. We drop down, go back up, drop down, and right here I'm like, oh hell yeah, we're getting a fucking winning trade. Fuck yeah, this. Like I was like, oh no, we're gonna take a loss, but then like, hell yeah, we're gonna take a fucking win. But then I watched this shit happen, and it totally ruined my fucking night. It totally ruined my fucking night. All right, so what did I see? I saw that we ran out yesterday's high, right here, and then we displaced downwards. like so. That's right. I saw that we formed a rather large SIBI on the 5 minute, and price failed to even hit the lowest quadrant before displacing and making more SIBIs. So I entered on the SIBI formed, and I put my stop loss at the high, which failed to hit the quadrant. Then I wanted to see price explore the 15-minute BISI, resting inside and I gotta stop saying it, inside the two down close candles. So yeah, basically there was a 5 minute gap up here, and we didn't even go into the first quadrant of it. We just drop. So I was like, okay, cool, and that was this right here. And then we dropped down again. Wait, hold on, I'm mistaking this. We failed to hit it like this, and then we dropped, and then I entered on, see, I wish I could have it like, I wish I could integrate trading view into these slides, because like I'm kind of confused. But I do remember there was a gap, and we literally just went into it like that. Oh yeah, right here. Yeah, I don't know. This little area here, like that wick on the 15-minute time frame candle, that was what I saw, and it went into a 5 minute gap that you can't see, but it was around this area, and we barely failed, and we failed to even hit the first little quadrant going into it, like the lowest quadrant of the gap. And then after that, we drop down. So that's why right here, it drops down on this, like, say this black candle right here. It drops down, comes back up into a 5 minute gap, another 5 minute gap, and that's when I entered right there. And that's what happened. It chopped around, but then it didn't want to run this low out because there was obviously bullish strength. But later on, in that space in between London and New York, it did drop down there and hit where I thought it was going to go. So not that good. And by the way, I was targeting these two down close candles, these two black bearish candles right here, and then this gap inside of it. Dude, have you ever played fucking Candy Crush? And you get like 4 candies in a row, and then it gives you like this stripe thing. And then if you match like two candies, and then you make like a L shape or something like that, or some other kind of thing you can do, then you get like a bomb. Sorry, I don't know if I can say when you do like a bomb candy. Like you mix the striped candy with the bomb candy, and it makes this big thing that goes like a huge, massive candy that goes up and then sideways. I kind of like see the markets as that, especially when this happens. Like we have two down close candles, two down close candles before the bullish move, which makes that a bullish order block, and then we have a buy side imbalance, or sell side inefficiency, fair value gap that's literally overlapped with it. So that's like double PD array. That's like double, like the impact of price wanting to go down and reach into that. So I should have, I should have, well, no, I shouldn't have done anything because I was anticipating that. But that's, I should make a whole video about that. How like if you have two like PD arrays that are coinciding with each other, like down here these two down close candles and then the gap, like, because I've noticed in other trades like those patterns. Like I gotta still give a name. I gotta give a name for it, obviously. But like when that happens, usually price likes to go there and explore it. Like I noticed that it has more of a stronger impact on price, and I actually heard ICT talk about that yesterday when I was studying his mentorship, the 2024 mentorship. He said like when you have like an order block and then there's a fair value gap with it, that is a stronger array than if it was just like an order block or a fair value gap. So that's something cool, and that's something to be mindful of, and that's something to know. And like, if you wanted to anticipate a bullish move in New York, you could have said, okay, even though this happened down here, we did fail to breach that low, and this candle right here, like, see that big down close candle, the first green gap, and then this doji or whatever it's called, and then the next one, this one right here reclaimed that, or if it didn't, the very next gap after that reclaimed that. So this inversion fair value gap formed by this big down candle got turned back into a regular fair value gap, And you could have said, okay, that means we are not bearish. Because if it was bearish, these arrays, first of all, if you were really bullish or bearish, excuse me, that array, like that overlap of that fair value gap and order block, it wouldn't even be returned to. Like, you know how earlier I showed you a trade where like it didn't even like on that 15-minute time frame, because you know how I bought on a fake gap, and I keep ripping on the fake gaps and the phony gaps, but you know how I bought into that fake gap? When price turned that into an inversion fair value gap, it didn't even return to it. And right here in New York, you could have been like, okay, this gap being inverted or like an inversion gap should be respected. And ideally, you don't want to see it traded into. You just want to see it lower, lower, lower. But it didn't do that. Instead, it was turned back into a regular fair value gap. And we have a high up here, anyways, as a draw on liquidity. So those kind of things stack up and add up to making a case to be bullish. And if I was trading the New York session, I hope I could have anticipated that. But yeah, these were the trades for this week. Super long fucking video. All 5 days. Negative 1% overall, like I said in the beginning. Next week, I'm gonna come to the markets and I'm gonna show up with a good head on my shoulders. I'm gonna study a lot more this weekend because I got tonight and then tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll catch some bangers because I gotta get out of drawdown and I need to get this fucking 50K account funded, and I need to get a payout on the 5K fund that I have. So without dragging this video out any longer, I will see you in the next one, bro.